So, as I mentioned in my last video, that it seemed as if crypto was going to go down, 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 apple bottom jeans. But no, because there was a full moon in Cancer that happened on the 25th of January. Full moon's price likes to find its bottom, and as you can see, price just dropped out of this green triangle and created a lower high. It created a lower high. So, and there could potentially be another triangle, but we'll draw that up afterwards. But yes, let's take a look at the crypto markets. But welcome everybody. My name is Kelita Sahliah. I am a mother. I'm a real angel, and of course I dabble in crypto because that's why we are here. So if you are new, we use astrology of the sky in alignment with the crypto market to see how it could potentially be impacting it. So usually the order of the video, we'll look at some GEMATRIA connections of what's happening on the world stage. We then look into the astrological story of what is happening this cycle, and then we follow up with technical analysis for Bitcoin, XRP and the DXY. We are going to do an extra one today. We're looking at XpR, but while I'll show you the calendar, this calendar is in full alignment with the visible sky, so it is not mainstream astrology. It's not Western tropical astrology. It's a sky that is above your head that you see every single day. So you feel free to grab it here if you would like. And the reason why astrology impacts the crypto market is because astrology is the science of light. It's light fractalized and then densified into matter. So basically, as we are densified into matter, it impacts the elements within our bodies, the periodic table of elements, which then has an impact naturally, because this is nature, on how we may act when it comes to the market, which means buying, selling, and things of that nature. So yes, and I know, like, at the beginning I was like, I'm an angel, and many people have said, why do you call yourself an angel? Basically, I'm an angle of light, and I am light shining on multiple angles, as I say on my YouTube channel, and this is one angle, and we are all light, we are all angels. So that's that. I'm an angel. But it's a little different this video. As I said, the market has gone down. There won't be any GEMATRIA connections this video, but we are looking into XpR, and we'll follow up ideally with the GEMATRIA connections. If not next video, it will be in the following one, so in 2 cycles at latest, and we're getting to the GEMATRIA connections for XpR. I'm just a little bit busy. I'm actually recording this on Saturday right now because we're celebrating my son's birthday tomorrow. It was earlier in January, but he wasn't very well, so that's why I'm getting it all done now so I can enjoy Sunday. But let's get into the astrological story of this cycle. And straight away, I know, little discrepancy here, that should have been 3, but straight away there are no transits happening at the end of January and at the beginning of February. Apart from this quarter moon, there are no transits anyway. That's why we're going to spend extra time to look into XpR. But I wanted to just use this time to show to speak about the general energies and how that could potentially be impacting the market. So as I mentioned before, we were in this full moon energy of Cancer, this Cancer full moon energy. Mainstream astrology would have been saying it was Leo. It was not, but anyway, that's besides the point. This full moon Cancer energy, we have our full moon in Leo in the next full moon, okay, and Leo is visible in the sky, so even in this polluted Birmingham area you can see it. All right, you can see it. But anyway, the full moon energy lasts 5 days before and 5 days after. So obviously we're only in the 5 days after period, as we are actually Saturday right now, where Uranus is stationing direct, and we're going to talk about that. But we've got 5 days from this point. So we've got 1 2 3 4 5. So basically, keep in mind, up until Tuesday, going into Wednesday morning, price may still be solidifying its bottom, so it may not have finished its bottom yet. I would say from Wednesday, or pretty much going into the beginning of February, our bottom and our support has been solidified, so do keep that in mind. I do want to bring awareness before we get into Uranus of this third quarter moon. So this is the third quarter moon, where as it solidifies its bottom by Wednesday, we're then slowly transitioning into it beginning to find its new resistance level on the no moon, new moon on the 9th. So do keep that in mind. Price may just be ranging, and then we're getting ready to actually find our resistance. And I want to pay attention to the resistance in the market before any moves are made, basically. So yeah, keep that in mind. From the beginning of February, we'll then be transitioning into this, our resistance level. All right, we'll be transitioning. So just going back to the general energies anyway, as I mentioned when it came to confirmation, but sorry, as I mentioned when it came to Fortuna being in Capricorn, as well as the sun being in Capricorn, the market may be slower moving, and I wouldn't even say slower moving, but the Capricorn energy is all about long-term focused goals. It's about creating stability, consistency in order to reach the long-term goals. So this is why from this point on I was seeing more downward movement in the market, because where the technical analysis was, it was kind of hovering. You see what I'm saying? It was hovering, so it was just like it hadn't finished its structure. So in order to finish its structure, it needs to just slow down, not be on the fast move, because it needs to set up its structure and foundation, and that is what the Capricorn energy is all about. And in doing so, we're going to be fortunate because Fortuna is in Capricorn. Okay, so this is telling me ultimately downward movement in the market is nothing to worry about. If you saw it go low, it's just discounts, click click click, discounts in the market. It's just a discount, because ultimately it's setting up the structure and stability in order to reach its long-term goal. So I want to bring awareness to this Uranus stationing direct. Now, I've done a whole video live about it, so do check it out. Do check it out to see how it could be impacting your own life, and the collective, things of that nature. But of course, over here it's just about money. However, Uranus is stationing direct where? In Aries tonight. Confirmation cough is stationing direct. With these slower moving luminaries, there does need time to build up momentum. So when it comes to all these astrological transits, do keep in mind it doesn't happen straight away. It's a period of time. Okay, but it's stationing direct, so we're getting forward movement in this Uranus energy that will appear first house. Aries fuels the first house, meaning it's going to be very noticeable. We're going to see it. So this is telling me whatever Uranus is going to bring, as it stations direct, we're going to notice it. We're going to probably hear noise about it on the world stage, a lot of people talking about it, influencers and things of that nature, of crypto potentially moving eventually. Now, Uranus is stationed direct up until, this is the other calendar by the way, but it enters into, where are we? It enters into Taurus. Oh, where are we? Uranus, here where my mouse is circling. It enters into Taurus on the 23rd. So here, and ironically, is another full moon. But we'll get to that point when we get to that point. We'll get there. So that's when this electric change could happen. So Uranus is known as the father of electricity. It has plutonic qualities to it because it's linked to plutonium on the periodic table. So I'm sure it's 94 on the periodic table, but it's plutonium anyway. So there's transformation energies coming with this station in direct. When it's retrograde, it is crossing the I's, dotting the T's, on doing everything necessary in order to move forward when the time is to move forward. And now we are moving forward. So basically what I'm saying is, as this moves forward, this electric change is moving forward, we're going to see it first house Aries in this new way, this exciting way, this like oh, Aries is the first fire sign, so it's just like excited, it's ecstatic, it's curious about things. So this hype about crypto may be coming back up as this electric change happens, but this is a wild one because it's the father of electricity. It's not the easiest energy. In order to bring in that electric change for new to come in, this new crypto bull run, this new wave, it needs to tear down the old first, which may be disruptive. And as I says, it's a slower moving luminary, so though it stations direct today, it needs time to pick up its momentum, which means going into February. And this is what I want to bring out because I'm kind of seeing lows in February. I'm seeing discounts in crypto, to put it in a positive perspective. That's what I'm seeing, because ultimately we need to tear down the old, get rid of it, create these structures, because we're still in this Capricorn energy for this long-term focus goal, in order for the new to come in. And all of this will be visible first house. So you're either going to be seeing people when the destructive qualities of Uranus activate, you're either going to be seeing people first house talking about crypto's not the one, it's awful, don't invest in it, it's just going lower, blah blah, don't trust it, things of that nature. You may be hearing illusions from the hologram. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, you may be seeing people saying you're going to be getting good discounts in the market. You know, this is discount opportunity. But ultimately, what I'm seeing is, when it comes to crypto and Uranus stationing direct, I'm seeing we're going to get that electric change. We're going to get that change that's necessary in the market. And as I says, it needs to tear down the old before the new can come in. So we're going to potentially be in the energy of it tearing down the old, but be prepared for the new to come in. So this is why I'm generally seeing lows in the market, possibly. And I want to bring awareness, and we will cover it when we get back to it in the next cycle, on the 4th, which is the next one, isn't it? Yes, it's the next one, so we will cover it again. But because there's no gematria, we're going a little bit deeper into it. I want to pay attention to where price finds its resistance. If price hasn't made like a higher high past certain resistance zones, then that will be the biggest indication that we're taking that leg lower. And the fact that this is a full moon in Leo, Leo is a fire sign, but the market is water. Fire and water don't mix so often. However, backdating, as what I've done for XRP, when and only when the market is ready, the Leo full moon can bring, other than Aquarius, one of the most percentage gains. But if it's not ready, it cannot do so. So we want to pay attention to how the market responds to this no moon, new moon in Aquarius. And I believe it begins in Aquarius and transitions into Capricorn pretty much on this day. So we've got Capricorn energies as well, and it's showing us wherever the market wants to find its resistance within this energy 5 days after, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up until Wednesday, we're seeing what price action could be doing based on the long-term goal. So I need you to have that awareness, and that may be the resistance, and of course to get to its lows, its new bottom, which could be higher than where it is now, or it could be lower, but we don't know until we get how price moves during this time. But ultimately, we're seeing the long term goal, and then we'll see the bottom of that, and then it's potentially go time, because February, the end of February, 5 days after the full moon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, literally the 29th is a leap year. End of February is about 50 to 55 days before the Bitcoin halving in April. So the Bitcoin halving is happening in April. This is the new calendar. Do grab it if you'd like. Patreon supporters get a discount, by the way, if you want to join me over there. But April, we're getting the Bitcoin halving. And 50 to 55 days, which I learned from my mentor, Waters Above. Do have a mentor, like, for sure. Check his videos out because it is deep. However, I'm a fractal of him and I'm sharing a different perspective. So if you resonate with me, resonate with both of us, that's absolutely fine. But 50 to 55 days before the April Bitcoin halving, we could potentially be seeing our lows, which falls into February. It falls into February. So this is why I'm like, could we be seeing a deeper correction because we're getting a fire sign? I'm not quite sure. It will all become a bit more clear when we see its new resistance level. But as I says, in alignment with all of this potentially happening is this Uranus quality moving forward, as it's stationing direct now. It's moving forward, so it's getting ready to tear down and be a bit disruptive, potentially reaching lows, in order to set up that structure, foundation, the technical support to reach the long-term goal it's ready for, which is all-time highs, the bull run and things of that nature going throughout summer into 2024. So do keep that in mind. Is there anything else I want to bring up before we move on to the technical analysis? Confirmation, but Pluto, again, is a longer moving luminary and it's in Capricorn. It's even slower than Uranus, so it's taking time to build up its momentum, and it's probably kicking up its momentum now as we're speaking. But Pluto is transformative in nature. It's death and rebirth. It's the god of the underworld. It's death and rebirth. And what are we rebirthing in? The foundation of our society, the stability, as the sun and Fortuna is in Capricorn anyway. So the foundation of our society is transforming. This is why this electric change needs to activate as in your personal lives. So do check out my energy updates for personal updates, but within the monetary system as well, because the whole foundation needs to change, and this is where cryptocurrency is coming into it. The transformation energies are picking up, and again, this is death and rebirth. The old needs to die away in order to build this Capricorn steady, sturdy, consistent, solid foundation. Yeah. Yeah. And as I says, is there anything else? Venus, excuse me, my coughing's a little better than the last video. It's a little better, but Venus is about, it does represent money as well, and it's all about our six senses. So it's how you're interacting, your nervous system is interacting with your hologram. So we're ready to go in this new direction. This new direction will bring about this electronic change, which will help set this solid foundation within our society. And crypto is playing its part. Like, what I say is that the best DCAing opportunities may be up until summer. It may be up until summer. We may get an interesting move in summer. We may get an interesting move in April. Why? Because I shared on my video on Leave the World Behind, signaled important moves in the market. It literally made it clear. Go check that video out. Through GEMATRIA, like, I didn't even watch the movie when I made that video, because I just checked the GEMATRIA and I decoded it. But ultimately, it's the full moons during Mercury retrogrades, and we do have a full moon during Mercury retrograde, stations retrograde, as you can see with my mouse. Then it stations direct just after the full moon. A bottom in the market, a potential, once it's found its bottom, begins to make its way up. We then have a full moon in August. We have a full moon in August. Where is it? Here, Mercury stations retrograde, stations direct on the 28th, our full moon, super sturgeon moon, with Aquarian energy. Now, as I mentioned before with Leo, other than Aquarius, when it's the full moon, the moment it's found its bottom with the Aquarian energy, because it's fueled by Mercury, and that's all about money, which fuels fake money, which is cryptocurrency, high movements in the market, like over 100% and things of that nature. So pay attention to August. And then the last full moon is in last Mercury retrograde begins in November. Where is it? Mercury stations retrograde in November 2024, and then it stations direct on the day we have another full moon, and it begins in Taurus and it enters into Gemini, another air sign, Mercury. So it's like, for me, that movie gave clear signs, so that is what I'm paying attention to. And by the way, I just want to bring awareness, you do have all of the retrograde dates at sight at the beginning of the calendar, but pay attention to that. I feel ultimately we are in the energy right now of laying the solid structural foundation to reach the long-term goal that may come in even at the end of 2024. Q4 is often the highest movement in the market, and we could be seeing price getting itself, structuring itself in order to reach that goal. Like, this may be a leg that I'm saying, but I generally feel that this August, the August full moon, so this moon in August in Aquarius, the 19th, right here, this super sturgeon moon, we often get upward momentum within the market in summer before it begins to plateau into autumn, and gets ready for its next move in winter. So this may be a bold move, but I don't see why price won't be making its all-time highs and at least testing the resistance of that level in August. So this is why it's like, even if it's a little after that, we don't know how price is going to act. We will follow this cycle by cycle, so stick with me if you like the astrology components as well. But we'll follow it cycle by cycle, and price could potentially be retesting its all-time highs. It could break, it could either retest it, be rejected off it before breaking through, or it could just break through and then retest it. We're not gonna know. But even if price is a little lower at a certain point, we may get shocked going into summer of like, oh wow, it's moving so quick, you know. And of course the bull run doesn't actually happen until it's past its all-time highs. So it's like we could get that resistance zone, we could plateau into autumn, and as we enter into winter, we could be getting ready for our bull run. Okay, Q4. So keep that in mind. And again, that's why I say from now up until summer will be amazing to dollar cost average into it. And even after summer, depending where price is, you could still be DCAing at it. But of course, I'm kind of seeing February may be the best lows. We of course will get other opportunities. But in terms of the discounted price, is here. But of course, if you're still wise enough and see the potential of crypto, it's still possible to put into it. But of course, I am not a financial advisor, and I'm not giving financial advice. I am not. As I said, I do have a Patreon where I can teach you the basics of technical analysis. It's only £8 a month. So yeah, you can do that, and I can put you on to further education just for the basic technical analysis. And I will be working on my Patreon much more this year and updating that as well, so check that out. But anyway, I'm kind of seeing that if you are in alignment with this video now and you're watching it, we are still in the early stages of crypto, and I always say I feel like I am super late when it comes to crypto. I'm like, oh shit, I'm still late, but no, it's still super early, and there's actually still plenty time to have to create your plan. So if you are in alignment with this video, you resonate with it, and you're feeling like, whoa, if this could be a sign or whatever, however you interpret reality, then this could be a potential to start having your plan to put into it. But just know it's not too late. Yes, after February, price may go higher. After this February lows, price may go higher, but I'm kind of seeing we do have till summer to still put into it, and depending where price is till summer, there could be some retracement opportunities to invest. Never put in when it's high. Wait until it's found its support, this full moon energy. No matter where you are, wherever you're watching this video, if it's later, full moon energy, pay attention to the full moon, because price will be finding its bottom. Now, there are some discrepancies. There are times where it finds its bottom and then it propels up straight away. There's times it finds its bottom and then goes another leg lower after it's found its bottom. So of course it's not 100%, but ultimately these are the general notions of it. So do keep that in mind. But I feel that that is pretty much the astrological story of this cycle, as is pretty slow. So again, in the market, because no transits are happening, we'll see how, yes, it's a discrepancy with the two, but we'll see how price action happens. It may be slow. We could get rejected off a certain level and it's just hovering. We may get a lower high or a higher low. Lower high, is it higher low or higher? Basically, it's not past the last highest point. We could potentially get that and get rejected off this full moon, this no moon, new moon energy, which will cause that slower stagnation as nothing is really happening, as Uranus to bring in that electric change, and which will be noticeable first house, Aries, to happen within the market. But all discount opportunities. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into the technical analysis. If you did like the astrological perspective, do let me know. So we are going to start with XRP today, because this is the chart that I'm on. Then we're getting to Bitcoin, XpR Proton, and then the DXY. So as I said before in my last video, as this wick fell down and went a little bit below the luminaries, went below Venus. Interesting. I anticipated price potentially wicking back down to gain support off of the moving averages. But I'd like to bring your awareness to the RSI. The RSI, what I'm looking at, we are literally below the 40 on the RSI. We are underneath with XRP. Are we underneath? No, we're a little, hold on, I have to squint my eyes. But the Brummy accent, oh gosh, we're above this yellow moving average. Now I don't know, we'll have to obviously wait and see if we fall back below the moving average, but we are under the 50, the 40, and way below the 50 on the RSI right now. But we have reached kind of like oversold territory. So this confirmation burp, this could potentially within the RSI, the volume of price, it could create a higher low. However, with price itself, don't rule out the possibility for even filling this wick. Just don't rule it out. I'm kind of not seeing that, but price could potentially come back down to the 48 zone if we just like, because as you can see with the RSI, we've kind of gone up in a straight line and it is very small, but price has started to price has started to turn and turn the opposite direction. So in this opposite direction, we could come back down, get another reassurance for this support on 48. It could do that because price, yeah, in terms of like the volume. So we'll see anyway. But as I mentioned before, it seemed as if we were in this triangle, but then have we potentially created another triangle? So I'd like to draw that on XRP from, hold on, let's make it a little smaller, there we go, potentially even from this wick. So we're going to go from wick to wick, which we've touched that wick. Interesting. This is even more interesting. So fascinating. Wicks to wicks. Now this is going to look different with the candle drawing. So let me just put the candle line on. So as you can see, when it comes to the whole line drawing, we don't even touch this. This is why this wick was drawn, because I based it off the actual volume and where price opened and closed, and not the wicks. And of course we broke below that, so this is why I'd like to bring awareness to where the wicks are sitting. Let's put the candles back on. So the wicks are sitting on this trend line. Could this be another trend line? Let's bring this further down. So I didn't draw this off the wicks. That was off just the line chart. Let me just show you this part so I can show you. As you can see, it was off the line chart. It hit those points, and that's how I drew that. But we're going to put an extra line and make the chart even more messier. Oh, let's put the candles back on. We're going to draw it off of the wicks. That was a wild one, but it seems like it's kind of a bit more conservative with these wicks here. So we'll start there. Even just, I need to move that. I need to move it a little. Just base. Oh, what's going on? Work for me, baby. So let me just move this. So basically, just based on because we've had 2 touch points off of this trend line, so we're kind of following the outer lines. Let me just change the color so it's just a bit more noticeable. What color? We'll go for pink. So the external lines are pink, so we can see a bit clearer. So we're still technically within a triangle. As you can see, we're still in a triangle, which is interesting. And of course, the bottom of the triangle is about 47 cents. So don't be surprised if the bottom comes in, as I mentioned with this. Oh, what's going on? As I mentioned, with this full moon energy coming in February, and we're potentially going to see deeper corrections in the market, because we're still in this Capricorn energy of long-term goals. Don't be surprised if price comes and wicks down to that 47 price region. Do I see it potentially going lower? Let's take a look at another time frame. You know, before I do that, let's take a deeper look at it. So we do have this other green triangle. Price could even potentially come back up and get resisted off of this zone. So as you can see, price, it was hovering on this zone, it broke down and come back to it. So this ultimately is our next zone, which for continuation to the upside, we'd like to see a higher point than at least 60 cents. So that's what we'd like to see. So I need to bring your awareness to, if we are going to get rejected off of 60 cents, we see this surge up because the where is it, this new moon energy will get ready to bring it up after the third quarter moon. Pay attention to how it responds here, because we could get rejected and then it could bring us down to a deeper correction. Price may not get that high. There is a possibility of it only reaching, because right now it's at 53 cents. It could well get rejected off 55 and may not even get back into the inner triangle before it comes back down, before going up and actually entering back into that triangle, giving us the apex of March, which is interesting, where we could see price continuing up. So it's good to analyze. As I said, I am an angel of light. We're looking at multiple angles, multiple lights that are possible. So ultimately, we want to see how price responds at the 55 cents level. We want to see how it responds there. If price can break above that and get at least to even 56, then we'll know 56 cents, not pounds, even though I'm British, not pence. But if price can do that, then at least you'll know we are within the inner triangle and we're trading between that. We could get that 60 range, we could get rejected a bit before coiling up, before going out, or we could be rejected down before entering back into it and coiling up and spewing out. Or there's the other option of XRPs on the longest mission going into like April, end of April, May, before going out. So I don't know, I feel more so if we are to be rejected off of this zone to come down, we may just get rejected and coil up within the larger triangle, causing more frustration to people. Like, what's going on? I don't want to invest in this coin, even though it's going to play a big role in our society before it continues out. But let's take a look if we could potentially be going lower. And I think at the end of this I will put on the moon. Yeah, I didn't say that. Excuse me. So, on the W time frame, you know, if you've been following me, I don't like to say the word W, I say cycle. So, no, not W, W-E-E-K. So on the W time frame, with the RSI, we are quite low. We're quite low, so this is telling me there could be some relief, a little bit of relief within the market, and it makes sense because we will soon be entering into the no moon, new moon energy, where price wants to find its resistance. So that makes sense. But look at this, within the RSI, we are below the 50, which is kind of signaling to me we could be rejected off of the 50 zone before coming back down. That could be a potential on the larger time frame. So I do just want to look at the actual candle formation to get a better sight of this. So it's not ended yet. We still have the end of tomorrow. As I says, I am doing this video a little bit earlier. So it hasn't ended yet. So it's going to be interesting to see how that ends and the next one starts. Ultimately, in terms of candle formation, check back in the next video and we'll get a better confirmation of that. Confirmation burp. I just done a tiny burp. But we'll see how, like, if the next candle that forms, if we're showing a little indecision in the market, as I says, if we potentially just move a little slow and price just ranges, we could get a little indecision candle, which would be a signal that it's ready to then go and find its resistance as we tap into the no moon, new moon. But yeah, ultimately, I feel we just need to wait and see. Everything is waiting and seeing to see if we get rejected at the 55 cents level, or if the Aquarius new moon is powerful enough to propel it back into the green triangle. And if it potentially does, the next level is 60 cents, 59 to 60 cents that we want to pay attention to. And of course, where price ended was actually 57, so I'll extend that to 57 to 61 cents, between that range if we pass 55. And we'd like to see where it's officially rejected from, because of course price will need to then find its bottom. Price will need to find its bottom, and then once it's found its next bottom on this Leo full moon, then we'll get a better idea of where it's going. So I don't know, we'll see. The bottom could potentially even be higher than this, or it could come back down to this line at 48, or the bottom could be 55 again if we surpass it. So it's all a waiting game, really. Would it be lower? Something I do like is that we have continuously made higher lows. So it's like a step ladder: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've made higher lows. So ultimately, even if we tap into 49, we'll still be making the higher lows. Though I do want to pay attention to this wick. Could price get that low? I don't know. Hitting the 40 to 41 cents range, because here is another resistance level, or it's another not trend line. What is it called? This. Oh, the wrong thing. I put the wrong thing up. So let's change this. Horizontal line. There is another zone here, so I'd like to bring awareness to that and that potential possibility, especially as I says, this is a fire sign. I don't know what's going to happen on the world stage that could be reflected from what astrology is doing to cause it just to get super weak and retest this zone, because we've had, once price broke below it, it wicked up to retest it a couple times, wicked again, stayed below it, it broke through, wicked back down to this point as its support, and then it found it as its resistance, then its support, and so on. So I also want to bring awareness, if we do break out of both of the triangles when it comes to XRP, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we tap into the 41 to 43 region. I feel if anything it won't be as low as the actual wick as 40, so 41 potentially, but don't be surprised, because even though it has made this nice lovely step ladder, if it comes here, we'll just validate this as its lower low, and it technically structurally would be creating another lower high, a higher low. A higher low, so it would still be okay in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, not really entertaining this idea until we see where price is rejected from. If we're rejected on the lower level, that could bring us down lower, but if we are rejected on the higher level, then I don't really see us coming out of this trend line at 48 cents. So ultimately 50 cents XRP is a discount. It's a super discount, but let's just take a look at the lower time frames. One little look. So obviously when it comes to the 4 hour now, so on the daily, price is being supported nicely on the luminary moving averages, but on the 4 hour smaller time frame, Saturn and everything is sloping to the downside. So this is what I'm like, okay, is there potential another downward momentum? And just looking at this structure alone, it really seems as if where it is, it wants to come back down to retest at least the 48 or 49.495 where it last was. So do keep that in mind. Depending on the DXY and what the dollar is doing, we may get a little upward surge. as I says, we are entering into the no moon, new moon energy, and it needs to find its resistance. So could its resistance be at 55 cents? That is a potential. So yeah, potential upward momentum to find its resistance, and we need to see how price just responds at this level, because if it fails to get above this zone, then we're just seeing another leg lower. If it can get higher, there's a little bit more chance. There's a little bit more chance, but of course, if it's to get higher and even reach to the 58 zone, which is still a possibility, because I don't have my GEMATRIA calculator up right now, but XRP in GEMATRIA, as well as Kelita, my name, equals 58. So though I've been saying 55, keep in mind, if it reached to 58, that's just the algorithm playing out. It's playing out its code, probably causing people to think, yeah, it's going up from now, investing in 58. But then we've still got this bad boy here where it needs to kind of get above it. So 62 going on to 63, where it's even more potential for the upside. So we do have the possibility of breaking through the 55, reaching that 58, but then we could get rejected off of the moving averages on the 4 hour and being rejected by there, and that's our resistance. That could push us down further to either create a smaller, like higher low at this level, or it could push us down further to that 48 level. So as I says, it's all about where price is ready to find its resistance at this point. I feel because of where we are, there's no point looking on smaller time frames, but that's what I'm seeing. And with the RSI on the 4 hour, again, we could come back down to test the 50, which is the yellow line right here, and that could give us the support momentum to then pull us up into this no moon, new moon energy. So we could come back down just to this zone 51 before gaining that little extra support to bring us back up to 55. And depending how powerful it is, it could take us up to the 58 region. But mark my words, if it goes to 58, it's just confirmation. It's all an algorithm. Like 100% algorithm. But let's look on Bitcoin now. Sure. The bit of the coin. So I drew this little white line, so it's not really getting rejected off of this, even though price seems to be sitting on it perfectly. It's not actually getting rejected off the line. However, there is a little resistance level there. So move. Sorry. There's an annoying little fly. The resistance level, anyway, as you can see, let's just put the lines there. So, let's just take a look on the larger time frame before. So what can I see? So okay, on the W time frame, the cycle time frame, it does seem as if we're pointing a little bit to the upside, and I feel this correlates with XRP, and of course Bitcoin moves the market first. It does correlate a little because XRP has gone down quite a bit, and it was seeming like on the larger time frame it's ready to just go up a little. Oh, also this video, which will come out here on the 4th, we'll take a look at the monthly candle, but it's just not that important right now. But yeah, kind of like what I'm seeing is there may be confirmation burp on the W time frame, upward momentum, and again leading back into the no moon, new moon, where price is ready to find its resistance. So ultimately there may be a little upward momentum in the crypto market, so it can get rejected you know. But just take a quick look at the candles on this time frame. The candle formation. Oh, I've moved that line. I didn't know you could do that. So, what the candles are showing me is a little bit of indecision. As I was trying to say, this red line here is where price seems to be getting rejected from. We had wicked all the way down. However, the volume of price is staying at this line at 41k. So this is kind of showing me there's a little indecision and transition in the market. And as we've got an as above so below situation here, look at that wick all the way up to 49k, and then we've wicked down on the as below to 38k, and then price has come back up to the support and resistance because it's both. So I'm kind of seeing Bitcoin could potentially be I don't know, it could hover and range at this zone and be rejected down, or we could be pushed up above it, and when price is ready to find its bottom after it finds its resistance, this could be its support. Interesting. That's very interesting. Oh no, this full moon. I don't know. I feel the Leo full moon. We need to see how it responds to this level. It may go a bit above it, and then it may break below it, because I am seeing this green trend line quite important. And as I said before, it's just hovering. It's hovering and it's floating in thin air. Like, what are you doing, Bitcoin? It needs to finish its structural support. And as I was saying with the Capricorn energy, it's about setting the solid foundations, being consistent, showing up, maybe slow movements, but ultimately you're in it for the long term. So this is why I am seeing this green trend line as important. So this is March. February we could be getting our lows going into March. So it's about 32k, 31. Like my price ranges stay 31 to 34k. Between that bracket, I feel would be healthy for Bitcoin. But let's just take a look on, did I do the line? Let's look at the line. So yeah, it's kind of going in a straight line. It's kind of just going in a straight line, the volume of price. So could it just hover there, maybe get a bit lower, be rejected off of where this last support was at 42k when the no moon, new moon energy comes in, to then be propelled back lower? That could be a possibility in our first leg, 38k Bitcoin. Yeah, and we could break below it, and then our resistance could then be that. But let's just take a look on the daily. Interesting. So on the daily with the RSI, we are at the 50 region. We're at the 50 region, and we're literally ranging. We're ranging sideways at the 50, which is showing me there could be a potential resistance literally at this level. You see how we broke below it? This could possibly be just a retest of where we've broken from. And it may range, as I says, we're moving into this slower Capricorn energy. It may range, and when the no moon, new moon energy comes in, it could appear like here, and then we'll see that that is our resistance. Or if anything, yeah, we're coming back to that 42 between, what's that, 45k for our resistance, because we really just want to see not only a higher high than 43, that would give a little momentum, but I feel the most important one, of course, would be past 47k for continuation to the upside. But as I says, I feel it's just not finished its technical analysis structure, and though it may seem like, oh, it's going lower, it's setting up the structure and offering discounts for long-term goals. So let's just take a look on the candle formation. Okay, so with the candle on the daily, like I says, this daily candle hasn't ended just yet. We're still in it, and then we're going. Sunday will appear, but it's giving a hammer top. It's giving a little hammer. So it's like, is that indecision in the market? Look how price has just responded to this zone, quite accurately. So yeah, whenever you're watching this video, I guess if it passes even 42, pay attention to it, and of course if it passes 43 going on to 44k, then it's just like, oh, where it's going. But that could still cause us to not pass the higher zone. We could still get on new moon energy, and it creates a higher low. Could come up even here, could create a higher low before coming back down and actually retesting that. We'll get confirmation when we look into the DXY on how seeing how that is acting, to see how obviously the crypto market could potentially be acting. But that's what I'm seeing. We want to see how price responds to this 41k level. Is it going to be rejected from here and come down? Will it literally just range to get that no moon new moon energy and then come down? Because as I said, where are we? This activates 5 days before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do have essentially the whole of this cycle. So if price is just ranging the whole of that cycle before the resistance zone kicks in, then it will be interesting. And of course we are still in the full moon energy of price finding its bottom up until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up until the Tuesday. So because we're in this bottom in energy, price may even be rejected off here and solidify its bottom before Tuesday. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look. I need to wait. let's take a look at the 4 hour, and then we'll take a quick look at XpR and then the DXY. So okay, on the 4 hour RSI, it's literally just going sideways. Like, what is it gonna do? Is it going to go sideways until this yellow moving average catches up to it and crosses over, and then will it be ready to just make its way down? But it's literally just ranging right now. As you can see, price is being supported off of Saturn, Pluto and Mercury. It wicked down to Saturn, and then it's just hovering and ranging within this zone. So yeah, like, and it's definitely not overbrought, but it is in the higher regions. So if it is to go up, just not much movement. That's why, was it 47k would be like the highs, I guess, but was it 45 potentially it may attempt to go to as its new resistance when we enter into the no moon new moon energy, but it still needs to find its bottom or ultimately confirmation cough and burp. But right now this essentially is its bottom at 38k.4. So that is it, unless it makes another low. But right now it's literally just ranging, and I feel it will be good to just wait to see how price acts when this moving averages catches up with it. Will it find it as a support like it did back here and bounce off, giving it the momentum to reach its new resistance, which could be the new moon energy? Or will it just cross, and will it cross down? But I feel ultimately we are in a range stage right now. We are in just a range stage. A range stage. Again, on like, yeah, the higher time frame. Just look at that wick. So let's just take a look at XpR, and then I feel by latest, 2 cycles by latest. What are we? Crypto Angles podcast number 44. So 45, 46, potentially 46. Potentially the 46 podcast will get a bit more insight. So, Proton, XpR. So we are on the biggest time frame, so just go to the line. I'm more than sure I had drawings on this, but it's gone. Hold on, I definitely had drawings on this. I'll potentially use Qcoin. Yeah, here we go. Sure. Just the line chart. It's looking a little interesting. It's looking a little interesting. So, again, kind of in alignment with Bitcoin and XRP on the W time frame, we're pointing up on the RSI for potential upward momentum before another rejection. So we could well, with Proton, go on up and get rejected off of the 50 RSI, as it would also be rejected off this yellow moving average as well. So in terms of price, could that be a case of potentially getting rejected at 0.009 000, but 009, could that be the case to then get a possible deeper correction? And I feel if we're to get a deeper correction, if we're to get a deeper correction, could it be to this zone? Could we have the momentum as what Bitcoin and XRP is doing, because Bitcoin moves the market to just get rejected off this zone to find our resistance? We then get ready to find our bottom, and it retests this zone. Now this is just a line chart where price action solidified, opened and closed, but we'll check the candles. But that's kind of what I'm seeing there. Let's take a look at the candles on the W time frame. So yeah, already price, it come to this zone, which was interesting. There's not much there, except we do have some wicks on both sides, support and resistance, but price already had wicked down to this zone. So ultimately we want to see how price responds to 0.0009 6 how price responds there, and if we push through, or if it is our resistance, to then come back down. Because as I says, when it comes to the market makers in crypto, they like to just mess with your emotions. So they're gonna just make it seem like it's just not doing anything for forever until it does something. So and of course we've not gone into the GEMATRIA of XpR, but what I've found, I've just not had the time to collate it together and present it. But what I've found, I feel it's a hidden gem. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm seeing on the W time frame. Let's just take a look at the daily. And I feel, even though I've not done the GEMATRIA of this, I feel it's still a long ass video. So, okay, even on the 4 hour, we aren't at the 50 on the RSI yet, which this could give us that little momentum upward, just a little bit, to potentially bring us to this zone or a little bit lower. But we could possibly get rejected off of this zone. And when it comes to the moving averages, Pluto, Mercury and Saturn are underneath Uranus, Venus and Neptune. Where is Uranus? It's not even in the picture. Oh, there he is. So, oh, my battery. So when it comes to all of that, when Pluto, Saturn and Mercury are below the potential to get some profit, of course. What's going on?
But yeah, just be safe, people. With that being said,
hopefully, I think one of my videos are playing in the background. I was meant to press the brightness, but Yeah, it's underneath. So when Saturn, Pluto, and Mercury are underneath, it's more downward momentum. So this is why it's kind of confirming to me this potential low in the market during February. And as I said, lows are just discounts. It's discounts, people. But that's what I'm seeing there. We'll just take a quick look at the 4 hour and then get onto the DXY. Gosh, I really need to wee. So, um, on the 4 hour, interesting, RSI, we're already kind of at 70. We're at the top. There is still room to be overbought, I guess, but we are with the moving averages. We're getting caught underneath Neptune, Uranus, and Venus. So, could Bitcoin having that little jump up, could we potentially be pushed and wedged in between the two of them? Because as you can see, Pluto, Mercury, and Saturn are literally at this other resistance line. So that is a potential. We could be wedged between it before being pushed below. Or we could just hover and range here and just be pushed lower. So that's kind of what I'm seeing with Proton. Potentially a good zone is 0.0007. Um, and excuse me, confirmation cough. The lowest 0.0005. Um, I kind of feel if we're going lower than that, it's just like, what's going on? That's when I'll just be more just like, a little bit skeptical. But between 0.007 and 0.005, ultimately, does it really make a difference? Maybe not. Yeah, a little. But that's what I'm seeing. Is ideally going to just make this double top, double bottom, and make this lovely, is it a W? Potential W in the mix. This long ass W. That could be it. It could make a double bottom, which will obviously be positive anyway, you know? But of course, if we're even to go below 0.05, if we go below it and enter into the 0.004, maybe another discount opportunity, but I'll be a bit more skeptical of it. But I do think this is a hidden gem, and we're going to go over the DXY quite quickly because I really need to wee. Mama needs to wee. So, okay, so straight away on the DXY, what I'm seeing on the daily is that with the RSI, you can see that we're caught on the 60 level and we were rejected it. So price is moving sideways and potentially ready to dip down to be supported off of the yellow moving average again. And I feel this aligns with the crypto wanting to find its resistance, having that little momentum to just go up that little bit to find its resistance. So in terms of actual price, the DXY, as it has not only wicked below it, it's wicked by it several times, or a couple times, 3 times, few times. It has wicked to it on the daily, showing a little indecision in the market. Of course, it is closed right now. It will be closed on Sunday. But we may just get price coming back down and possibly ranging off this zone. But I do want to bring awareness that it is in between, what's it called, the moving averages, and I put this green line because that was a price target it could have met from its potential head and shoulders, and I shown that in last cycle's video. My laptop's getting slow, but the other shoulder you can't see it, but this is the head, one shoulder, and this is its price target, and it actually hasn't reached that yet. And because crypto is ready to have that little momentum to the upside to then potentially be rejected, this is where the DXY could just be hovering on these lows, on this support at 103, before gaining the momentum to finally finish its price target at 104. And of course, while it's doing that, it's literally still in the brackets wedged between Uranus and Saturn, and the rest of them is still wedged between it, because price could well, confirmation burp, it could reach to this 104 region as the luminaries come down further, and then that could trap it in it, and that could be the resistance to then bring it down lower to make another lower low when when crypto is ready to move on upward before that Bitcoin halving. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing. Let's just take a quick look on the 4 hour before I go and renew to so interesting, the RSI is above the 50. It's kind of like riding the moving average right now. So there could be, and again on the 4 hour, it is opposite. The luminaries are opposite, and when Saturn is below Uranus, it's more downward momentum. So this is where, even if price, when the market opens Sunday night, price may attempt to just go up that little bit, just causing crypto to just hover, dip down a tiny bit, could get rejected before it tests this again, causing ultimately it's 1 and 2 to create its proper third test of actually sitting on this zone, because though we went low to it, we didn't retest it, and the market likes to move in threes. 3 is an interesting number. It is the frequency. 3 is the frequency. It's the coil that energy travels along. So that could potentially we get rejected again off that. Retest this for the third time to confirm it as support before fully finishing out its price target. What was the price target? 104, I think it was 104. But I really need to get yeah, let me know, how are you seeing the crypto market moving? I'm seeing, though it may seem a little slow at times, ultimately because of this Capricorn energy is all about setting the foundation in order for the long-term goal. So as I said, whatever kind of happens, especially before the Bitcoin halving, 50 to 55 days before it during February, we're getting discounts in the market. Okay, we're getting discounts. So that's all I can say. And of course, up until the halving, so throughout March into April, it's still going to be good prices, but just not as low potentially as where February may take it. And I feel this is how the market maker just likes to play with people's emotions, because it's just like, oh, it's so low, don't go in that, blah 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 blah. So we'll see how it all goes ultimately. We'll see how it all goes, but do let me know if this did help. Do give a like on the video, comment and stuff, because it does help me. Do check out my Patreon. I will be throughout 2024 adding more exclusive content. I was asked to do another birth chart reading in terms of the luminaries. If you don't know, I've done it for Bitcoin and XRP. I will be doing Ethereum soon, and the other coins I'll do it for the ones I'm interested in. Any who are curious, but XDC, XpR, what's the other one, Matic as well. I'll be doing birth chart readings for them, but they will be available only on Patreon, because it takes a lot of energy. It really does. But just the main 3 will be on my YouTube, so do check that out. I do give birth chart readings as well in alignment with the visible sky, so contact me. And of course, grab your calendar, a learning calendar to backdate. Like, this is super cheap. It's gonna be £2.50. So do grab that, plus postage and packaging for the physical one, or grab the digital one. There should be a discount on that. Maybe it's run out, but I'll put a discount back on it. But do grab it anyway, so you can learn from it and backdate. And follow me in the new year with the new calendar. Yeah, follow me with that calendar. As I said, do let me know if it helps. This was Crypto Angles podcast number 44. We're entering into the new toroidal field, so the foundations need to be set in the crypto market. And the next crypto podcast angle will be 45.9 ethereal energy, and I'll catch you there. But with that being said, Angel out. Bye.